Hey survivors, it's Angie Atkinson, and today at QueenBeing.com we're going to talk about the difference between love and love bombing. Alright, so let's get started. My name is Angie Atkinson, and this channel is all about teaching you what I know to be true. You really can create the life you want. So as people go through narcissistic abuse recovery, a lot of times what happens is that they have trouble telling the difference between someone who is really falling in love with them and someone who's love bombing them. You know, they want to make sure they're not getting involved with another narcissist. I'm sure you feel the same way if you've gone through this, right? So it's surprisingly one of the biggest questions I hear from survivors is, how do you know the difference between a narcissist who's love bombing and a normal person who's just genuinely interested in you? Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. Well, let me ask you a question. Why do you think it's so hard for someone who knows people to tell the difference between a love bomber and someone who's really interested on a healthy level? Well, the first reason, in my opinion, is that they have a similar appearance. So what do I mean by that? Well, the fact is that on the outside, a love bomber and a healthy person might, appear similar, especially if that person has fallen in love with you. But there are some very subtle differences that are often overlooked. And when we are under the spell of someone who is a new love, we're quick to overlook that stuff. Okay, so that's why we want to look at this fact. Number two, similar patterns. Okay, everybody is more willing to overlook little flaws early in the relationship, in any relationship, okay? And nearly everyone is a little more careful with how they treat their partners early in a relationship, even in a healthy relationship, okay? So there's the familiarity factor. That's number three. Nearly everybody finds something that used to be cute or at least tolerable about their partners when they are, as the relationship progresses. Okay, so familiarity breeds contempt in a lot of cases, even in a relatively healthy person. All right, so nearly everybody argues, nearly everybody admits to being mean to their partner when they didn't need to be or shouldn't have been. So that's, I think, why it's so difficult, to tell the difference, right? So how in the hell are you supposed to differentiate between a normal, healthy relationship and a love bomber or a narcissistic one? Well, here are a few key differences to watch for the next time you're considering getting involved with someone after you've been through narcissistic abuse. Okay? So, number one, the Instalove factor. Okay? This is where a narcissist will almost always, you should know, a narcissist is all about Insta stuff. Okay? Insta love, Insta whatever. So they'll a lot of times proclaim, hey, oh my God, you're totally my soulmate. Like really early in the relationship. And, this will almost always lead to the narcissist going, let's be together, let's commit, let's be monogamous. Of course, they're always going to cheat on you. Not always, but a lot of times. But they don't tell you that part at the beginning, do they? So a healthy person is going to take more time and get to know you before they rush into things. To be fair, there are a few real life cases of love at first sight that I'm sure are totally legit. Don't get me wrong. But if we're being honest with ourselves, those are really kind of fewer and further between than we'd like to admit in our little girl minds or little boy minds, right? The mind that wants to be romantic about things and believe in things like first love. I mean, I would first love at first sight. I would like to believe it too, but I don't think it's real. What do you think? Tell me in the comments if I'm off base here. I'm not trying to be negative. Okay, but if this person is really your person, the one for you, that person is going to wait without a single problem. They're going to just, of course I'll take it slow. You're somebody I'm worth waiting for. That's what you expect. You shouldn't expect someone to offer less than that. Okay? All right. So number two, the time factor. When you first meet a narcissist, you can totally find yourself completely and absolutely bowled over and just like wowed by their level of awesome. Okay, narcissists sometimes are very charismatic people, and they're hard to resist. And sometimes this happens so much that you feel like, oh my God, all I want to do is be near you. Just let me be near you. I don't care about anything else. And the truth is that the very same thing can happen with a new healthy love interest too. The difference here is that while a new healthy love interest might have that infatuation phase, and quite often does have an infatuation phase, it still allows you to stay involved in other important parts of your life, family, work, spirituality, etc. It doesn't ask you or beg you to dump your life or your people in order to avoid missing anything. Because the fact is that in that situation, you know, you don't ever one. That's another red flag, is what I'm trying to say. A narcissist is so good about bringing everything back to him or her that they literally isolate you from other people in your life. So if you are with someone who is constantly trying to isolate you, refuses to meet your friends and family, things like that, it's a red flag. But because a narcissist wants you to become dependent on him or her, because this allows them to become dependent on you in a different way as a source of narcissistic supply. Now, in some cases, they may want to become financially dependent on you, or they may make you be financially dependent on them. But if you're financially dependent on them, I'm sorry, if it's the other way around, if they're financially dependent on you, a lot of times, you know, they do other things for you, take care of you in certain ways, and this allows them to sort of enmesh themselves with you and become controlled, or you become controlled by that situation. So obviously a healthy person might still want to spend every moment with you, but that person would understand and support your need to continue with your regular life. They should want you to have a regular life, you know, as you get to know each other, even if it means that this person tags along to your family events sometimes, or when your friends go out to the club, that person joins y'all. You know what I'm saying? You do a double date with your BFF and their BF, you know, their person. I mean, there's lots of ways you can do this. It doesn't require you to stop living your own life. That is a huge red flag, okay? Of any situation, if you are in a situation where you are in love with someone, or you think you're in love with someone, and you think that person loves you back, if that person requires you to exit your real life, that person is dangerous. Be aware, okay? Let's talk about the drama factor. That's number 3. So when you're dealing with a narcissist, there are so many red flag signs, like really early in the relationship, that one of them, of course, is a lot of times the drama factor. So narcissists will shock you early in the relationship, and this will be with some kind of weird little outburst or fit that you don't expect. So and honestly, it'll one that the narcissist will really quickly go, wait a minute, I didn't mean it like that. Or, oh, I'm sorry, it was just I got a little upset, or whatever. They'll write it, and they'll quickly apologize for it, and later you'll realize that's their standard MO, but you didn't know that at the beginning. You just thought, oh, everybody has an off day, I'm sure he didn't mean anything, or she didn't mean anything, da 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 da. Maybe your narcissist blows up at a waiter too aggressively, or the food, you know, when the food shows up cold, or maybe you'll see the super bitchy, you know, ness come through to a friend or a relative on the phone, like say that you're a man dating a woman or whatever, and say that, you know, a woman calls your phone and it's your mom, and she answers your phone and says hello, and then, you know, your mom's like, oh, can I talk to Joe Blow, or whatever your name is? You know, your girl might be like, who the hell is this? You know what I'm saying? Because she's jealous. And that might be a big red flag. Why would she not assume it was someone who was your mother or your sister or whatever? You know, it's not okay for, what if it was your boss? You know what I'm saying? It's just not okay for someone to act like that. That's a red flag sign. So the drama factor. So I think the point is, narcissist got it, okay? If you question the narcissist or you mention the behavior to them, they will explain it away by saying things like, I'm totally justified in that treatment because, oh, that guy, he's owed me money for 15 years and he deserves whatever he gets. Or, my mom's never liked me, she's always had it out for me. Or, you know, my friend down the street, well, of course I was rude to him. He, you know, kicked me in the knee when I was 5 years old, or whatever crap they make up. It's never the narcissist's fault, okay? While a normal person might have a drama moment here and there, they are far more understandable and explainable, and they don't like stop the whole world as those you will deal with when you're dealing with a narcissist, okay? So the person might break down if something major happens. If they're normal and healthy, that's normal. Say they lose a friend, or you know, because the friend dies, or they get fired at work, or their cat dies, or something else that you might also feel like breaking down about, right? But they won't freak out if they say, hey, do you have any money? Can I borrow $1 to buy a soda? And you're like, I'm sorry, I don't have any change, honey. They're not going to flip out on you and say that you intentionally didn't bring any change because you're a horrible person who hates them and wants them to be thirsty, like a narcissist would. You feel me? Okay. So let's talk about the empathy factor. Okay. So, if you're in an early relationship with a narcissist, there are a lot of little subtle things that will happen in your conversations that you can watch for, okay? These things can tip you off early. These are like super early red flags. Simple patterns that are going to be evident if you know what to notice. So, y'all know what I'm here for. I'm going to tell you all about it, okay? So, one of the biggest things you can notice is watch how empathetic the narcissist is, or the person is capable of being, okay? We're hoping they're not a narcissist. If you watch what happens when someone in your new love's life experiences pain or tragedy, watch how that person behaves. So if a narcissist is involved, they might politely, oh, I'm sorry for your loss. And that's if they're a certain type of narcissist. In some cases, they'll say nothing, or they'll just be actually kind of rude about it. Like, well, he's been sick for years anyway. Who cares? Whatever. Okay. But the fact is that you can tell if you're being honest with yourself. You can tell if someone's being real, or if they are being polite, or if they're being genuinely concerned. Do you see what I'm saying? That's an important thing here. The empathy factor is huge. A narcissist can be a really good actor. Y'all know it's true. And they might even have a really good ability to ask follow-up questions, which makes them seem much more empathetic than you'd expect. And this is especially true when they're in the love bombing phase. So you're like, well, crap, now what? When things are back to normal, a narcissist will change the subject if the topic varies from something that interests him or her. Sometimes rudely, and sometimes by creating a big scene to get the attention back, okay? Like, for example, if you are dealing with, let's say you love purple clouds. You draw them all the time. You talk about them. You see them every now and then during a storm. It's your favorite thing in the whole wide world. Okay. Well, every now and then you talk about purple clouds. Well, let's say that, the person you're dating one day turns to you and goes, "Are you seriously still talking about purple clouds? Can't we talk about me once in a while? Why is it always about purple clouds with you? Do you have nothing else in your body or yourself that you are except for purple freaking clouds?" Red flag. See what I'm saying? Whatever. The narcissist will rudely interrupt you, rudely cut you off, and rudely say, "Let's talk about me," in some form or fashion. Okay, me being the narcissist, not me, Angie. Okay. If you are the one dealing with the trouble, okay, this is another way you can check your new person. A healthy person who's really into you is going to show genuine concern when someone you care about is hurt or goes through some kind of a hard time, or anything that you personally are concerned about your friend or your family member about. A healthy person will never make that about them. They will be there. They'll be like, "Let me know what I can do for you. Do you need some space?" And depending on the level of commitment at that point in the relationship, they'll stand by you in whatever way is appropriate. Okay, so sometimes that's going to mean stepping back and allowing you time to deal with the issue or to grieve with your own family if you're very early in the relationship, a few weeks in, or a couple months even in some cases, depending on how fast you're moving. But in some cases, it's going to mean that your person is going to come and literally stand by you while you go through it. Okay, if your love interest is the person dealing with the trouble, then that person is going to be concerned as much as you might be in a similar situation, and they will want you to stand by them in whatever way would be appropriate at that level in your relationship. You see what I'm saying? So basically, you can expect a normal person to show a healthy amount of grief and concern for people in their lives, and when it's about someone in your life, you can expect them to want to support you as you support your person. Okay, and again, in whatever way is appropriate at that level in your relationship. So, something to think about. While a narcissist in this situation is going to want you to feel sorry for him or her, while you baby and spoil him or her to help end the pain, whether it's their pain or otherwise. So it's not going to be about you ever. It's going to always be about the narcissist. Even in the situation where it's your friend or family member, the narcissist is going to get upset with you if you try to cut off, that person. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you say to the narcissist, "I'm having this problem," the narcissist, or "My sister's having this problem. I'm going to be really busy with her for a few weeks or months or days or whatever. I'm going to go out of town, take care of my sister. She's sick." The narcissist is going to wig out on you because you aren't going to be there taking care of him or her doing what they need you to do. They need their supply. And especially if you don't invite the narcissist to go along, that's a negative, obviously, and the narcissist is going to freak out. They won't have control if you're at your sister's house in Texas or whatever, okay? So that's it. And you know, how would you go about narc proofing your love life? Is that a question you'd like to know the answer to? I'm about to tell you. Here we go. So here you go. I'm going to tell you 3 easy steps to narc proofing your life. All right? They're proven steps. They work. I've tried them and I've passed them along to other people, and they've tried them and I know they work. Okay? It's really very simple, and you probably won't believe it, but it really works. I hope you're ready, because this is what you need to do in order to avoid getting involved with a narcissist in the future. Okay? Number 1, take your time. All right? You make a rule for yourself that you won't go too fast and you won't commit too soon. For example, after I left my ex-husband, I made a rule for myself that I would not allow anyone to propose to me for 1 year after we had started monogamously dating. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot of time, but I'm here to tell y'all, and I'm sure y'all know, narcissists like to rush into things. Somebody waiting a year after you started being monogamous in a relationship, there might be something to that. Now, that doesn't mean it solves the problem, so stick with me here, okay? I also, by the way, decided that I would make it a long engagement just to be safe, and that I would not date anyone until my divorce was officially final, which took almost a year. It was like 11 months, okay? And even then I went ahead and waited for the full year because I'm like that, all right? But the point is, you can set your own rules based on your own perception of how long it took you to recognize that you were dealing with a narcissist in the first place, all right? This can apply to literally any personal relationship, and even to professional ones in some cases on certain levels, okay? That is, you sort of maintain your guard in each type of relationship for an appropriate length of time before you assume that you can trust that person, okay? Step 2, you stay connected to other people in your life, all right? So in order to keep your life in balance and to protect yourself from getting enmeshed again with another narcissistic abuser, you really need to be careful to still actively cultivate relationships with a variety of people in your life, okay? Even and especially when you're in the beginning phases of new relationships and friendships. So make sure that you don't do that thing people do where they isolate themselves from everybody they know when they fall in love. Make sure that you intentionally, I don't care if you have to set reminders on your smartphone, make sure that you intentionally reach out and connect with the other important people in your life, especially and beyond the beginning of the relationship. All right? Okay, because I want to just remind you of something. Do you remember how bad it felt to you when you first realized that you had become isolated from everyone or many people in your life by the narcissist? It's the time that you need to be especially vigilant of staying connected early on and throughout the relationship. Okay? I don't care how in love you are. I don't care how much you think it's your idea to stay in bed for 17 days straight and ignore your phones and never even leave the bed except to eat and pee. Okay? I want you to promise yourself that you're going to have regular contact with other important people in your life, even if you need to schedule it. Okay? Get yourself connected to a good support network and stick with them. And consider having a recovery buddy who will check in with you on a regular basis and help you remember to remain connected to everybody else in your network of support and love. Okay? This is going to help to ensure that you don't inadvertently fall into your old patterns, because y'all know this can happen before we even realize it, right? So keep it in mind. The SPAN group might be an excellent way for you to do that. That's queenbee.com/span. Of course, University might be even better, because you're going to have people who are going to be directly connecting and looking for things like that if you want that. Okay? Remember that when you got involved with your narcissist and you felt a little off but you couldn't quite put your finger on it, that's step 3. Listen to your gut. Okay? That's your third and final step. Maybe you never felt really quite comfortable in the relationship, like you might lose it at any moment. You always worried that they would cheat. You lived in fear of being alone and or falling flat without that person. And honestly, this is another very important part of protecting yourself when it comes to keeping yourself from getting involved with another narcissist, okay? You have to listen to your gut. You have to listen to your heart. And you have to understand that even when those feelings, and especially when those feelings creep up inside of you that say, damn, I don't think it's right. I think this is wrong. This person seems a little off. You know, you get those gut feelings. You know you do. I know I did. I remember standing there at the altar, marrying my ex-husband. Inside my head, I was literally screaming, run! I'm not kidding. You think I'm kidding? I am so not kidding. And I did it anyway. And I thought, oh, it's just nerves. It was so stupid. But if I had listened to myself, imagine the pain and heartache I could have saved myself. You know what I'm saying? So the point is, and by the way, that was after I had known the man 5 months that I married him. Red flag. Okay. But I was dumb and young and I guess more desperate than I cared to admit at that moment. Don't let yourself be desperate. Okay? You have to listen to your gut. You have to listen to your heart. Those feelings that creep up inside of you even when you don't want to hear them. You have to listen. Okay? It does not matter how exciting and amazing that person seems at first. You have to listen to your heart and you have to listen to your gut and you're going to stay safe. That's called intuition. Listen to it. You've got it. It's been talking to you all along, but you've learned to shut it out because of the abuse. I want you to start listening to yourself again. That's going to save you so much trouble in your life, not just with this situation, but in every situation, okay? If something doesn't feel right, there's a reason. If you're not sure, scroll on back to number 1 and give it some more time. Take some time, okay? There's really no reason you should need to rush. If a truly healthy and mutually good relationship is on the horizon here, and the person you've been waiting for all your life has just showed up, time will be of no concern. Okay? Just take your time getting to know each other and enjoy the process because, my friend, it can be deliciously satisfying and super fun. So, what do you think? What would you add? I want to know. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Okay? Don't forget to visit queenbeing.com if you're looking for extra tools and resources. Lots of freebies there on narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, recovery, all these things. All from me. The other thing that you can look at is narcissisticabuse.recovery.online if you're looking for one-on-one coaching with me, or you can visit Queen Being's Coaching and Support Center, which you can go to universab.com for that. And stay tuned for big, exciting announcements. Okay, I'm wrapping up. I'll see you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. As always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life, and thank you for letting me be a part of yours. It means more to me than I can even express to you. It really does. Thank you. I'll see you soon, guys. Have a wonderful day. It's my mission to teach others what I know to be true. You really can create the life you want. Take care of your body. Take care of your soul. Nurture the real you and introduce him or her to the world. Be comfortable in your own skin and in your place in this world. Take your spot. Take it now. And the universe will take its cue from you. You feel me? If so, subscribe to my channel. Let's get it done together.